Hello my friends, this is FC7 and today I'm going to continue my Epic 1.5 quest series, this time with one of the least known classes, at least for me, the Beastlord. This is for the Savage Lord's Totem, and this is what it looks like when equipped and linked. I guess it has some kind of buff it gives your pet, because Beastlords rely a lot on pets in this game. So we start where we left off with the pre-quest in Shar Vahl, talking to Elder Animist Muada. You'll be seeing a lot of this guy during the quest. So one of the things I can say about this quest is that players are lucky that you don't have to do a lot of trade skilling. All you have to do is get your tailoring up to 100. That's about it for the 1.5. You will need to tailor an item, a helm, but in order to do that you need to go out in the world and get 4 items. So we'll go to the Plane of Disease here to get Roaring Grass. This is one of the items that you'll need to craft the helm that Muada asked for. So we'll just run to the location, and again, when I do these videos, they're best done with a guide. I don't go through a lot of the lore behind the quests. Most of this is just so players can find locations easier, because whenever I do quests in the game, the write-ups are fantastic, but the locations that you need to go to are not so clear. So hopefully these guides make a good supplement to written quests. So if you're familiar with the Plane of Disease, you have to go into the small castle here from the zone in, where we raided Grimace back in the day. And I should make it clear for people that this is a level 101 doing this quest, so I'm not doing it when it's at the recommended level, which is about 75 I think, or 70 when this was released. So I'm not going to give any strategies for the raid encounters. So if you're familiar with the Plane of Disease, you know that in order to get through this first door, you need to kill the guy that I just had on the screen there and loot a key. Then you can get through the door. That is Grimes' Crypt Key, dropped by Grimes the Guardian. Sometimes he won't be up, so you'll just have to wait for him to spawn. So right here is the location of Roaring Grass, the first item we'll need for the quest. So we have the Roaring Grass. The next item will be in Riwwi, the Coliseum of Games, and that will be the Petrified Fangshrub. So here we are at the zone in, and we'll just need to run down where this little stream is and follow it to the end. I do try to have my map up every time I zone into an area and kind of show where the zoning is and the item you need will be. So I also have some alts helping. So if you see some alts in the background, what I do is I just go in beforehand and find the items, and then I start recording when I can actually run to the items, if that makes any sense. So anyways, the Petrified Fangshrub is right here underneath the water, so we'll just loot that and move on to the next step, which is the Gulf of Gunthak. And here we are zoning in from a Plane of Knowledge, because the Plane of Knowledge book is right there. So there I am, and this is where we'll need to go, right here. Now this one's a little bit different because it's not a ground spawn. You have to hand in 3 blue diamonds to a mob, and he will hand you the Taut leather Swatch. So you'll need to find the Savage Lord Hunter. He's kind of deep in the zone, so I'll just show you the location from the zone in here. Blue diamonds are easy to find. If you don't have any, just go to any vendor in the Plane of Knowledge and search for some blue diamonds. Or just look in the bazaar, but don't get ripped off because people like to overprice. So we'll just keep running down the cave here. And I should also mention that I do a lot of things with the user interface during this quest, so if you see the user interface changing a lot, I apologize. I try to keep it in full screen as often as possible, but sometimes during some of these steps of the quest you kind of need to show people the dialogue. So that's why the UI elements may change during this video. So there's Savage Lord. And just hand him 3 blue diamonds. So we'll just... I know I have him somewhere. And because it's an older quest, I like to not stack the stuff. So I just gave him 3 blue diamonds, unstacked. So there we have the other Swatch we need. Now it's on to Sirens Grotto, and in this area you need to find the alien walrus and loot a Wildspirit tear from him. In this case, here he is. And I guess he can spawn from any walrus mob in the zone, but I stuck to Western Wastes, the entrance to Western Wastes, and just waited around. I guess there's like a 20-minute respawn on these walruses and stuff. And that's where I got my drop. So we'll just loot the Wildspirit tier. Go back to Shar Vahl. And at this point, you do the hand in. All 4 items. And in return, he will give you 2 items. He'll give you the plain Animist Helm and the shiny Sylvan Needle. And you'll need to tailor those together. Minimum, or the trivial, is 100. But if you've done the pre-quest, you should already be at 100. If not, try to get your tailoring up at this point. So once you create the item, the helm, that's what it looks like. You have to equip it. So we'll just take this helm I have on off and say I am done. And then you receive a letter from Muada, which is right there. And the next step is to go to the Ocean of Tears. And you'll need to find an NPC named Marrey McGrannel. So here we are at the zone in, and she is located way over in this island over here. Which isn't too bad considering how huge this zone is. During some 1.5s you have to go to the very back of the zone. So Beastlord got off kind of lucky in this case, even though it's a huge run, a very long run. So we'll just run to the location. And I apologize for not editing this part out, but I think it's important for people following along in case you're not very good at reading locations and stuff. I just show exactly where to go, and don't worry about locations. Locations are when you type in /LOC, it gives you a series of numbers, and some people can find that confusing. I know when I first started the game, it was everybody given location numbers, and I was like, what? So I will keep running to the location of this NPC. I really recommend a fast mount. I was lucky enough to get a fast mount just before I started this quest. I open one of the free packs that they give you every month. The 500 day break points. And I got this mount. And I'm glad I did, or else this would have taken a lot longer. So we have this fastest mount in the game. Well, one of the fastest. So here we are coming up on the island we need. So we'll just find this NPC. I really recommend having a tracker if you're doing this quest, or quests like these, I should say. Trackers make it so much easier. So then hand in the letter, go through her dialogue, and then you'll get the letter back. And the next step you'll need to do is go to the Overthere and find an NPC named Irionu Bastun. The good thing about this NPC is that it's located pretty close to the water. So again, you don't have to go all the way across the zone. You can just follow the beach here. So zone in from the plane of knowledge here, and then just go down the beach area. And try to avoid those level 75 skeletons, because they are pretty rough. I don't know what quest they're for, but I know during the Druid 1.5 I had to avoid those guys too. Maybe someday I'll do some research into what they're for, but they're completely out of place in the zone. There's like a pack of 5 level 75s. Alright, so this is the NPC we need. So hand in the letter. Go through the dialogue. She'll give the letter back. There you go. And now you have to go to Jaggedpine Forest. So in Jaggedpine, you'll need to find Rashara Wrualla. And this is where you zone in. And that's the location you need. And again, this NPC is located next to the water. So if you just follow the water line, you'll find her, but I will show you how to find her when zoning in from this location. So we'll just travel over here. Should be around here somewhere. So maybe right around this area. Over here. Okay. So now hail her. Give her the letter. She gives it back. And go through the dialogue. The blue text. And the next step is probably the hardest here in Cazic, Thule. This must have been very, very difficult back when this was current. You'll need to find an NPC named Ikpug Giblod. do the hand in, and then he hands it back signed. But this is a little bit difficult only because of the incredible amount of ads that will attack you. This must have taken like a small raid force back when this was current, just due to so many ads. And I'll show you his location. It's pretty complicated. You have to run back by the temple here, and then actually go in the temple, and he will be floating in a jar or a tub of water. So just go up the steps. And the reason I'm not getting so many ads right now is because I already have a few alts that already came up here to scout the location, or else I'd have like 50 or 60 mobs on me right now. So just run up the steps. Almost there. So location is right down here. And we'll just have to hand the note in. And gives it back. So the next step we have to do is find an NPC in Western Wastes named Diddugu. I think that's how you pronounce it. And do the hand in, and it returns it. So basically he's just doing the same thing as the other steps during this quest. It's a little bit tedious, but luckily there's no trade skill involved or really hard fights. After doing so many of these 1.5s, it seems they can either go the tedious route like this, or they can do like trade skills, which is, yeah, I don't really like to do trade skills during these quests. So we'll just keep running to the location. Some people might have trouble with this mob being KOS, so I didn't have a problem. But you might want to use sneak or invis yourself. But like I said, luckily I didn't have a problem. I don't know if you can ruin your faction with them, but I haven't done much to ruin any faction because I just created this Beastlord like a month ago. So I haven't had much time to explore on him. So here's location, and if you're confused, just go to the very north spot of the zone. Go straight north. Again, sorry about taking so long to run to these spots. But we're almost there. And I think at this point I get attacked by this dragon, but yeah. Just finish him off and do the turn in. I'm not going to show the whole fight here. So this is the mob you need. So apparently he'll sign the letter and give it back to you. Be sure to follow the text dialogue because sometimes there are invisible flags during these older quests, so you'll need to do the entire dialogue. Now back in Vahl, hand in the letter to Muada. And then just follow along with the blue text. So at this point in the quest, after you do the dialogue, you'll have to go to the Maiden's Eye, and this will be familiar for people who've done the pre-quest. You'll need to defeat a mob named the Frantic Ravenous Beast and loot the Darkened Spirit Essence, and I'll show you the location of exactly where these things spawn. They're by a cauldron, and I will show you the location. It's basically the same location if you watch my pre-quest video where you had to loot an item for the pre-quest. So it's right over here, and there will be some wolves right around here. There'll be 3 of them, and they take about 20 minutes to spawn. And just keep clearing this area, and eventually you'll get the Frantic to spawn. Don't worry about the wolves wandering around. Just concentrate on these 3. So here we have 3, and the Frantic is in the middle. And again, there's a location. So just defeat this mob and loot the Spirit Essence. There's really nothing special about this mob. He doesn't seem to hit any harder than the other ones, the other wolves. So just loot the essence. You might have to sit through some spawn cycles. I think I spent a couple hours there. So the next item you'll need is the Disturbed Beast Essence, and that drops from the Ravenous Night Stalkers and the Plane of Nightmare. And I'll show you the location from the zone in. This will be from the Plane of Tranquility. Just keep running this way. Go across a small stream. And these will be the werewolf looking creatures. Right around here. And sorry for such a dark zone. I don't know how well that'll show up on YouTube. Maybe you won't be able to see much, but hopefully you can. And there's the item we need. Get out of this dark zone and head back to Vahl for the turn-in. So turn in both essences and then go through the blue text. So we'll just turn these in. And you will receive a note to Irionu. I'm going to pronounce it that way. So there's a note you need for the next step of the quest, and you'll need to go back to the Overthere. And go back to this NPC, hand in the note, go through the dialogue, and at this point you need to go back to the Gulf of Gunthak and find a mob named the Delirious Drogmor. And you'll need to loot the Swirling Feral Essence. And again, I'm going to show you the location on the map from the zone in, from Plane of Knowledge. So it's way back in the back of the zone. So we'll just go to the back of the zone, from the zone in. And I believe it's the entrance to Nadox. The entrance that isn't used very often. Or at least it's not the entrance that I usually use to get into Nadox. So we'll just go down the cave system here again. The same area where you turned in the 3 blue diamonds. We'll just get that out of the way. So at this point, take a left. And there'll be a small hill coming up that slants upward. Which is right over here. And I believe the Delirious Drogmor can spawn from any of the Drogmor models. So here we have 3. So it can be any one of these in the area that slants upwards towards the zone in. And like I said, I think it's a zone into Nadox. So what I'm going to show is the area leading up. There's like a stairway leading up to the entrance, and he spawned for me right to the left of it, so he's right here. Right there. And we'll just dispatch him quickly and loot the item we need. So once he's dead, loot the item. Swirling Feral Essence, hand it back into the NPC in the Overthere, and get a note. Now at this point in the quest, I recommend buying 3 ales. It's for an upcoming step in the Ocean of Tears. And I usually go to this NPC in the Plane of Knowledge. But really you can buy ale anywhere. So make sure to get 3. Go back to Shar Vahl. Do the turn in for the note. And he will send you back to the Ocean of Tears. And you'll need to go back to Marrey McGrannel. And before she'll talk to you, she wants 3 ales, so make sure to hand those in. That's why it's important to buy them before you come out here, or else you'll have to go all the way back and find ales. Because they're pretty sneaky with this part of the quest. So after giving her the 3 ales and going through the text, she will give you a Feral Lord's Brooch. And then it is on to Wrath Mountains. And this next stop is a little bit difficult, so I'll try to explain it. It's probably the hardest, most complicated part of this quest. But before I get into that, I will show you the location of the 2 NPCs you need to talk to. And for this part, I will just show the full screen here. So you have the map, and you have the full screen, the middle of the screen here, showing you exactly where to go. Quite a long run. So to start this thing out, you'll need to talk to these 2 NPCs, and you'll need to solve 3 riddles. I will have the answers on the screen, but I guess one of them will be KOS to you and the other one will not be. So what you need to do is hail the one who is KOS to you, and you have to say something to him to get him non-KOS. I recommend creating a hotkey that says what riddle and just spamming it to the one who's KOS, which is the one that starts with an A. So I will show you the location here. Use pounce to make this go a little bit faster. So there's the area we need to get to up there. So it's at the very right side of that map at the top. There's like a small outcropping. I think the only other 1.5 that has this kind of complex event is the Druid 1.5, where you're with these skeletons and you need to do some work. So anyway, here we are at the two NPCs we need to talk to. And basically just start out by saying what riddle and see if that works to the one who's KOS. And then go through the text here. The answers are Moon, Kedge Keep, Elder Elves. So as you can see, I accidentally killed one by accident, but they respawn pretty quickly if you mess up. So we'll just, what I'm doing here is just making hotkeys so that I can get through this event a little bit faster. And just, I'm feigned underneath. So then I just stand up really quickly and just spam what riddle. And eventually he won't be KOS anymore, and I can start this this event here. So there we go. Just go through the dialogue. And if anybody has any tips on how to make this a little bit faster or clearer, leave them in the comments section. So the next step is to go up to this guy, go through his dialogue, and he'll faint like that, and he'll be attacked. You'll be attacked by this little one, this little sphinx that spawns. And you'll need to loot an item from his corpse. This item right here. You'll need to loot that. And then this part I got a little bit confused on because you have to hand it back to the guy that fainted. I thought that he was dead and needed to respawn, but no, he's not dead. So just hand it back to him and he'll reappear and give you an item. So then you have to do the same thing to the other Sphinx, the one that starts with an A. Give him this item. So just take it and hand it into him, and the same thing will happen. He will faint, an NPC will spawn, and you just need to defeat him. Loot the item that he drops. Hand it back into the fainted mob. And then he'll regain consciousness. And you will receive the gift of the Sphinx, which is that item right there. So congratulations, you just finished probably the hardest part of this quest. And now you're ready to move on, and this will go faster from here. Go back to Shar Vahl, do the hand in the gift of the Sphinx, and then go through the text. Next step is going back to Jaggedpine Forest and back to Rashara. So we will just go back to Jaggedpine. So we'll just rush back. And really, that last part with the Sphinxes, it is a little bit complicated. Like I said, if anybody has any tips on how to get through that faster, I'd appreciate it. It might help other Beastlords trying to get through it. Really, I think you just need to create a hotkey and just keep spamming what riddle to the one who's KOS. I should have done that in the first place. I would have saved myself a lot of time. So with this next step, it's like the first time you don't receive an item to give to an NPC. I'm used to carrying items from one step to another. But with this one, you just go up and hail her. So we'll just hail her and start the next step to this quest. And we're almost finished here. You'll receive a request of the elders. There it is. So once you finish here, you need to go to Dranic Scar. And I will show you the location of the NPC you need to go to. I won't even try to pronounce that name. So you need to do the turn in. I'll show you the location here. I'll try to pronounce the name. Eureka Sislak. So after you hand in the note, a mob named Gurplane Spirit Leech will spawn along with a bunch of ads, and you need to kill him and loot the Rashara's Warder Essence. This part of the quest was pretty difficult. I wasn't prepared for so many ads. So here we are at the NPC we need to do the turn into. So we'll just turn in the letter. And now the Gurplane should have spawned. And I'll show you the location, but I'll use my bard to show the location, because I need the bard for tracking. So right over here. So now I'll switch back to my Beastlord. So he'll spawn right there. Not much to say about this fight, except he seemed very magic resistant to my casters. But overall pretty easy. Now we'll just loot the Rashara's Warder Essence. And be sure to give it back to the NPC that's in the zone. So we'll just go back to her and give her the essence. And now I'll go back to Rashara and hand in the essence and the Elder's response. The sealed response to the Elders. And now I'll go back to Shar Vahl, and at this point you have to make sure to type out "say Rashara sent me," because I tried to hail him and he didn't respond. So I was a little bit confused at that spot, but just type out say, and then Rashara sent me. And at this point, you should receive the Elder Cloak of Resilience. Now at this point, go to the ruined city of Dranik and find an NPC named Irionu. Hand her the Cloak of Resilience. A mob will spawn that you need to defeat and loot an item named the Totem of the Feral, and then hand it back to Irionu. At that point, she will give you a wrapped Discord Totem of the Feral, and I will show that whole sequence of events right now. So I'll show you her location. This is zoning in from the blood fields. So we'll just go to the location. This is zoning in from the caves from the blood fields. I know there's two different spots you can zone into and from. So this isn't using the regular entrance. This is using the cave entrance. And we'll just go right under the bridge. Hand in the cloak. So handing in the cloak will trigger the raid mob that you need to defeat. And I'll show you the location. So the Discordian Dark Animist will spawn along with 5 ads. And he's not too tough of a fight. Of course I had a level 110 mage helping, which didn't hurt. Depending on your level, this might be a difficult fight. But I found the one in Dranik Scar to be a little bit more difficult than this one, just because of the number of ads. So this is where you need to go. And there's the mob you need to defeat. And again, I just use my mage and use his beam spells to just get rid of all the ads here. And switch to my Beastlord and finish him off. So we will loot that. The Discordant Totem of the Feral. And then go back to this NPC, hand it into her, and she'll hand you one back, which is the wrapped Discordant Totem of the Feral. And for some reason, she, when I came back to do the turn-in, she wasn't there. I had to wait a little bit. I don't know if she despawned or what. But I waited like maybe 5 minutes and she respawned. So don't freak out. Okay, now this is the final turn-in. Back in Shar Vahl. And the quest is complete. So there's a 1.5. There is the achievement you get. Overall, this was a very fun quest. I like that you didn't have to do a lot of trade skilling. All you needed to do was get your tailoring to 100. Visually, the item looks nice. I wish that it would have been a little bit lighter tone of brown, but that's okay. We'll see what the 2.0 looks like. Maybe there's some particle effects added to it. So look for that soon, and then look for an epic request. I'll be doing those probably within the next month. Thank you everybody for watching. If there's any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. So that's just about do it. Bye.